I don't wish to get into that because I'm not here to besmirch anyone.
No, we're not. We're not doing that.
You know what?
So this
What do
one
you
right
think?
here is pouring.
Oh, that's the blue.
Yep.
Whoa. Wow.
Any bartender will tell you if somebody orders a blue drink, they make 10 more in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I
dude,
imagine
check
that to be
out.
true.
Yeah, so
Can I read that?
please, by all means.
Blue beer, don't care.
Yep.
It's a blue sour. So what's in it that makes it blue?
Food coloring.
Food coloring. Yeah.
That's it.
Well, so we did I used to work with a local music festival.
All right.
And we did a collaboration seltzer with Dubco last summer.
I love Dubco. I was just there yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
I love Chris and like that. Yeah, they're
Chris
family.
and Jen and
Yep.
all those. They're amazing.
Family to me, man. Yeah.
And so they did like a collaboration project with us where we did a pink pineapple seltzer because our logo was
Yes.
pineapple. Like our whole theme was pineapples.
Nice, man.
And they, it came out pink, and I was like, "Oh, how'd you make it pink?" And they're like, "Oh, we just put a little cool food coloring in there,
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
little dye, just to make it hit home a little bit."
They just released Gatorade again. You know, like the Gatorades, and they didn't real. And I'm like, how did you guys do this? I'm like, it's fucking powdered Gatorade. Okay. Well, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just meeting with them because every year we do a memorial bike ride for my father, and they open up early for us afterwards and whatnot. 'Cause they're just great friends.
Salt of the earth, huh?
Love
Yeah.
Dubco people.
Good people.
Yeah.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks
Cheers
for coming
to you
on,
guys.
Gary.
So what is this? Blue beer? Why not?
Blue beer don't care.
Blue beer don't care.
Friend of mine, yeah.
That's tasty.
Yeah, that is tasty.
A lot of
What's
people don't
the-
realize
what's
that blue
the flavor?
raspberry is not an actual thing.
No.
No.
Raspberry.
I was gonna say it tastes like but blue raspberry is not a thing.
Because we associate it with the Jolly
With
Ranchers
blue.
or whatever.
Yes.
It's like blue raspberry.
Wow.
They just tend to go together. There's no such thing as blue raspberry, but we wanted to make it blue, so.
Yeah, it
Matches
does. It
the
matches
outfit
the whole
right
thing.
Yeah,
now.
there
I
you
mean,
go,
this is
man.
like
You got-
Blue light behind you.
And your watch. I
Oh
like
my-
that,
I'm on-
man.
I'm
You're
in.
all sorts of coordinated.
Yeah, what's going on?
Like, I go green and yellow, and I'm a matchy guy.
So, Gary Rosen,
Yes.
the founder, creator, owner of Synergy Brew Project,
I refer to myself as Grand Admiral.
Grand Admiral.
Just
of
because
this-
I can.
I mean, that's what you get for being the owner and the creator and the founder and the Grand Admiral.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, pretty much.
Thanks for coming on here.
Yes.
Oh, thanks for having me,
sitting
you guys.
down
This is
and
awesome.
jumping on.
This is
I think you just reached out a couple of weeks ago, and because you had seen the episode that we did with Kyle,
Yeah.
Yes.
from Subtlety.
Shout out, Kyle.
Yeah, and you said that you were one of the people in the room
In that room, yeah.
during the story that he told of the inception moment of Subtlety, where he got a bunch of friends to just try the product. And you were one of those friends.
One of my favorite moments in my 15 plus year beer career has 100% to do with iced tea. But that's the beer community, man. Just tight knit, and he's part of my beer family here on Long Island. There's a lot of people that I consider family that are just through beer, and Kyle's one of them, man.
Yeah.
And that was just, I saw that and saw what you guys were doing. I'm like, this is really awesome. So yeah, I totally had to
and
reach out, man.
you send a message, and the person who runs the social channels for us, our team member Matt, who's not in the room today, but because he's out in California this week.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's,
Living
his
the life.
girlfriend lives out there.
Surfing or something.
Yeah.
But at least I'm doing something right on social media.
So he got the message, and he sent me a text. He goes, reel this guy in. That's what he said to me. He
All
just
right,
said,
there
you
you
got
go.
a message on Disrupting Long Island, reel this guy in. And the reason that he said that is because he thought your story was really cool.
Cool,
He thought
awesome,
the
man.
brand was really cool, and the way that you present it, the way you talk about it was really cool. So that's why we wanted to have you jump on here and tell your story. 'Cause I mean,
And
we
drink some
talked a
great
little-
beer.
Yeah, and drink.
Yeah,
that-
why not?
This
Man?
is
Where else can you just
come on.
drink beer on a Wednesday afternoon? You know?
Right, exactly.
right here in the heart of Huntington.
Yep.
But so tell us a little bit. We talked a little bit off there
Sure,
before we started. But before we go all the way back,
Yep.
why did you start the Synergy Brew Project?
So I was away, living in New Jersey for 12-ish years or so. My parents got a little sick. I had to come home, take care of them. This was through kind of COVID, and my parents, the life cycle, you know? So I had to come home. I got to take care of my parents. And really, I kind of needed to make my own hours. I had a different company idea in sales that I implemented, did really, really well for a year and a half. But as things progressed, I couldn't work for somebody else just because I needed to be my parents' caregiver. And this was an idea that I had floating in my head, and I passed it by the owner of Uber Geek, where I brew all of my beer, and he loved it, and he was able to get it started because right now, as of recording, and I'm pretty sure by the air date,
It'll be like 3 or 4 weeks from now.
will still be a DBA of Uber Geek. I'm working to get my own license. It's in the process, but right now it's still a DBA, and he lets me call myself Grand Admiral. So yeah, I just wanted to put a lot of my ideas and my ADD silliness into motion, and if I need to take a day off, I take a day off. If I need to take care of my mother and go see her, then I do that. If I, and I just wanted to do some things and help out Long Island because I've always loved it and always wanted to come back home. And even though it was poor circumstances, I'm happy to be back and kind of do this. So necessity, and it put me in a place where I could do it.
So tell me a little bit about the concept behind everything that is Synergy.
So everything that I do with Synergy is 100% collaborative. So outside of just contract brewing, which a lot of people do, because I don't want to have a brewery. I just don't. Like, I could make a drinkable beer. I don't want to learn how to make good beers.
Gotcha.
And the whole collaboration thing, I love Rob, I love Uber Geek, and I'm glad it to be made there. So what I do is I collaborate with non-brewery professionals. Breweries collaborate all the time, and they make things awesome, and they're like half of your beer and half of your beer, and it's even better. I look at the people that are kind of either industry adjacent, like this beer, Nikki, Sours and Sass, has probably worked at, I think she currently works at 5 breweries, probably has worked at like 8. And I was like, why has nobody ever let you brew a beer?
Nikki before.
You know Nikki, right? Why has nobody let you brew a beer? Like, that's just silly. And that's what I wanted to do. So all the beers.
Now it makes sense, the blue.
Yeah. And that's kind of her, So all the beers, from the ideas and the recipes and the flavor profile and the color, are a collaborative effort with who I'm collaborating with. All of the artwork is a collaborative effort. This was my old logo. A tattoo artist did my first 5 or 6 beers. Notorious Tattoo, Gary out there, phenomenal stuff. Did that. When I switched over the logos, all different artwork. Everything is 100% collaborative with Long Island local small businesses, musicians, tattoo artists. I want to do one that's just like some kind of short poem that's just like lyrics or something. And that's what it is, man. Just, it's all about collaboration, and beer is for everybody. I just kind of love that. And if you like beer, you kind of want to brew your own. Yeah. So I wish I could have a beer. I would, So yeah, now some people can.
So what is Uber Geek for those that don't know?
So Uber Geek is a brewery out in Riverhead. They do their own beer. Phenomenal beer. Rob is a very good friend of mine. And when I approached him with this idea, he really liked it. And it's a different revenue stream for him. It's like, hey, so I make my beer. And so what I do is I pay money to brew beer there. And he's actually brewing it. So I'm like, hey, I want a beer. We want a beer to look like this, taste like this. This is the flavor profile. I know enough about beer, being a beer judge and all. I was like, so I think this kind of malt, this hop, this, that, and the other thing. But actually putting together a recipe, he finalizes that. And I'm like, hey, we want this, and that. And then he makes it. That's a great idea, but we have to. Fantastic. Thank you very much.
So it's also like small batch beer brewing, or as large?
100% small batch. I do 8 barrels at a clip. So basically what that works out to be is generally what I'll do is about 55 cases, and maybe a dozen sixtels, like the slim kegs, and that's it.
Wow.
Done and done. So what people like in beer is kind of limited. Well, I'm very limited. Oh, I like local. Well, I'm the most local thing you're going to find. I don't care where it's on Long Island. I have somebody attached to a beer that is within a couple of miles wherever. These 2 beers, one of the girls lives like 4 miles from here.
Right.
So check it out. I'm the most Oh no, Threes is probably closer. Anyway, I'm the second most local brewery to where we're sitting right now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's amazing. So
very cool.
take us back now to the beginning. Starfish Junction, Kyle.
All right, so
I'm kind of interested in how do you
Yeah.
learn how to brew beer, and how do you become a brew judge? You said, are you?
Yeah.
Are you a brew master?
No.
It's just the Admiral.
Brewmaster is basically
Grand Admiral.
the head guy at a brewery and all.
Okay.
I've always been interested in craft beer. Even when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like Bud Miller Coors. I drank what I wanted to drink. When I was younger, you're not going to make fun of me. I like wine coolers. I'm going to drink them when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Whatever. I
Right.
didn't like whiskey, so I'm going to drink my Malibu.
Yeah.
So when I became of age and started learning a little bit more about craft beer, I got more involved in it and started to homebrew. And I joined one of the homebrew clubs with my biological parents. I had met them when I was 29 years old, and they were big beer fans. So all of a sudden we met, and then it just kind of exploded from there. And I was in a completely different field. I was a therapist and a psychology professor.
Wow.
At 2 local colleges.
Wow.
And then because I was a regular at Blue Point and some life things happened, I was like, come on, let me work here. And you're like, all right, you're in your 30s.
right.
And you're a
You have a
psychologist.
degree from Columbia.
Yeah.
And we're going to pay you like $12 an hour to fill growlers all day? I'm like, yep, let's do it.
Wow.
And then they finally hired me, and they made me a sales guy, and that's why I moved away for a few years and got more and more into it, and took classes to learn how to judge beer and understand exactly what this is. I'm a big fan of education, so I kind of went about it that way. And yeah, man, that's life takes you on a journey, man.
Yeah, where did the connection with Starfish Junction come into play?
So
through Blue Point.
Yes. So, well, actually, it was even before I worked at Blue Point. Andy and Linda, the owners of Starfish Junction, came to one of the homebrew club meetings. At that point, I think it was like the Brewers East End Revival beer. Even before the LIBME. And they're like, hey, we're doing this big beer fest. I think Kyle spoke about it. It was out at Martha Clara, back when it was Martha Clara.
Okay. Yeah.
And we're looking for volunteers. And yep, here we go. I want to volunteer. And I was there that day before Andy was, like the owner. Like I showed up early, ready to go. And they just became very, very good friends of mine. And when I worked for Blue Point, and I was in charge of Pennsylvania and New Jersey and Delmarva and all, and that was one of those Starfish Junction festivals. I was pouring beer, and there was the little after party in the owner's room, and there was Kyle like, hey guys, I trust you. And he told the story so beautifully, and I just happened to be in that room, man. So it was just really, really cool.
Wow.
And I drink a lot of subtlety now.
Yeah. It's good. I understand why.
I wanted to do a collaboration with him. I spoke to him. We had discussions to do a collaboration. It just won't be able to work because of the scale that I brew on.
Yeah.
And what we need, because he got to do a beer with another big brewery. It was a tea and like inspired beer. I wanted to do a hard iced tea or a hard lemonade.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It was just this little bit of equipment
Yeah.
that none of us have. And if somebody does, it's way too much money to make it financially viable. So
For a small batch.
for a small batch of doing it, in time, we will though.
Yeah.
Of course. Of
Yes.
course.
So how do you? This is a business.
Yes.
Right. This isn't. So you present. I feel like a lot of people hear collaboration and they think, oh, free or exposure, stuff like that. This is a business.
So some of it is, again, the first time I ever heard the saying, the rising tide lifts all ships, that really kind of changed the way I approached life and everything. So if I have the ability, this is my money that I spend, this is my money that I make. But if somehow I'm like, hey, when I went to the tattoo artist, I was like, Gary, do you want to do some labels? You obviously it's on the can, his stuff is on the can. Everybody's Instagram is on the can and all. You obviously get a case of beer for everything that you do. And that's what it is. I don't make a ton of money on any batch, so I'm not abusing their, I want to eat free because I've wrote 2 Yelp reviews. I'm going to the greatest steakhouse and you owe me a dinner.
Right.
No, I work that we all work together. Everything that I do, I tag everybody that's involved. So it doesn't just help my brand, it helps their brand, the account that it's in, because my 628 or however many followers I have, you know what, doesn't command a lot of respect. But when I go into your store and I'm like, hey, there's 5 people attached to this beer. So when I tag you, when I tag those 5 people,
They're all going to see it.
well, there you go. Because who knows? Maybe somebody that loves Nikki wants to go grab that beer. Maybe somebody that knows Jackie that collaborated on this beer is like, I got to try her beer.
Jackie who?
Beer ballerina. Jackie Gatto. Do you know her?
Jackie as well.
She is fantastic. She's one of the gals that collaborated on these 2 with me. And little sneak peek, she will be doing another beer with me in December.
They do bar and beer. Right?
Bar and beer, yes,
Yep,
absolutely, which is super cool. So again, the Instagrammers and content creators, I don't just want somebody that puts a can of beer here.
Yeah.
And they get 1 million likes because they're well endowed. You know, it's like, hey,
Right.
great, no problem. I'll stare at it occasionally. Sorry, my wife. But I want people that are doing something.
Right.
Nikki does stuff. You know, Jackie, that's awesome that she's a part of it and all. And then the other girls, you know, like do something. And so it's not just about the TNA with it.
Yeah. So how do you go about, like, so say, you know, a lot of people watch this, they want to collaborate with you. How do you go about that process? Are you very selective? Is it very, you know, how do you go through that process?
Do you have to have an idea first, or do people approach you with ideas?
Yeah.
All right. So
because this is a very cool idea. Like, I own a business, and I'm like, man, that'd be sick to do a collaboration and have a beer, and I could have it in my stores, and
we could absolutely do that.
no, yeah,
you know?
I'm just
So
thinking in my
again,
head.
I'm not just looking at you need to have more followers than me or this.
Right.
Number one, it has to make sense.
Yeah.
You know, I've had 2 people reach out to me. Now, that's not a lot of people in a year, but with 641 followers, I was excited as hell. Hey, I got this idea and whatnot. And the one person told me the idea, and I don't know if that would necessarily work because there was like a charity involved and whatever, and like I do my own charity things and I don't know. And then I had somebody else, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. Let's see. I'm open to any ideas to work with anybody. I don't care if you have 2 followers or 2 billion or whatever.
Right.
I'm open to the ideas. So far, I've had a lot of the ideas, and I've reached out to the people. I reached out to Jackie. I reached out to Alex, who did these and did like another label for me. And the Crafty Witch, she's phenomenal. She designs clothes and jewelry for a living. I was like, and you're a huge fan, I have to do something with you.
Right.
She's amazing. And she did one of my labels, you know. So anyway, if somebody has an idea, come on. Not everybody has the idea of what can sell. So if you're like, I want to have this beer, I'm like, it's not financially viable. I'm sorry. It's a great idea. I'll never take your idea. It's not going to work right now, but I love that idea. But, you know, hey, man, I'm willing to listen to anybody. Like I said, I was a therapist. I'm a good listener, even though I'm here to talk.
So how do you go about distributing these? How do you go about getting them into different stores? Because I know you're in a lot of different
I knock
local
on a
places.
lot of doors all day long and hear no a lot.
Right.
But that's basically it. You know, we're self-distributed right now. So we're right now at the point where I would keep beer in my car when it was colder. So I didn't have to worry about it. And I said, hey, if you're on the fence, I have an invoice and I have beer in the truck. Let's go right now. I will take pictures of it and put it online in 6 minutes or less.
Right.
So now I have cold storage and I have a couple of delivery days, but it's just me knocking on doors. Hey guys, this is this beer. This is what I got going on. This is what I'm doing. Would you like some? This is probably why it'll sell. And that's just my sales background right there. What I do with that. And then I spend a day a week dropping off beer.
That's not a bad way to live.
No, it's not at
a
all.
bad way to live.
There's worse ways to make a living, my man. Worse ways to make a
What is
living.
this one we're
What's this
trying?
one?
Oh, Jesus. This
It's
is
cool, don't worry about it.
high top sneakers and sailor tattoos. This is one of...
Paper towel.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's
good.
cool. Don't worry about it. I
This
just don't
is-
want to stain the wood.
Yeah.
I've spilled way worse on this.
I gotcha. This is one of the Women's Month collaborations that I did with Jackie, with my friend Kelly, with my friend Alex, and my wife, and another gal, Erin, in the beer industry. And the way beer is now, and my famous, well, not famous, but what I say is that the way the industry is now, like people will take a cereal box and make a beer that tastes like it and throw the cereal box on a can and it's a beer.
Yeah.
And if they can do that, I could steal obscure song lyrics and name that my beer. So High Top Sneakers and Sailor Tattoos is a Gaslight Anthem lyrics. Okay. And I kind of did that. And what I wanted to do was reach out for Women's Month, and a lot of the girls were into the same kind of music. So I was like, so what do you think if we called this? And they collaborated on the artwork, and we all kind of went together and went to my friend Phil, and he put that together, and it just looked awesome.
Cool. Try it. Hi,
Cheers. I mean, it's a little bit blue because we did that. But,
Yeah.
This is a dry hopped sour. You should get a lot of ripe, tart pineapple and peach. So that's kind of some of the hops and what we did. And again, nice, refreshing as we move into this season and all.
No, that's freaking great.
I love sour IPAs.
Well, there you go.
I love like, anything Hudson Valley Brewery does.
Oh, good stuff right there. Yep. I hear you. All right. So I know your taste profile. There you go, man. Yeah, absolutely. And it came out great, and I love it. And, it's pretty cool. There's a couple places in town that carry it, and Gaslight Anthem is playing Friday, which makes no difference to you guys because this won't air by then.
No.
Yeah, we can. Well, no, we can't.
No.
I would try.
No.
Eric, turn this around immediately.
No, that's fine. It will still be available. Trust me, go buy some, but I don't think you'll be able to.
Are you anywhere here in Huntington?
I'm right across the street in Burgerology.
Okay.
Threes has had the beer because of
little guest tab
Nikki
action.
that works there. Well, they've had cans. And what is it up the road? Shoreline.
Okay.
Has it up the road, and he's OG. I mean, he's been doing this a long time.
Yeah, sure.
In the craft
That's
game.
the place where I go to buy beer. I live right down the road here.
Nice, yeah. So it was super cool to get in there because he's OG, man. I remember going there many years ago. Like, what does he got? So it's cool to be in there.
It's huge.
Yeah,
there's so much going on there. I feel like every time I walk in, it's like, how can I possibly look at everything?
Exactly. and it's just cool for me. And that's that's three places, two within steps of here.
Yeah.
And then just one right up the road. So,
So what is your favorite beer ever? You said you weren't always a Coors Light, Michelob, whatever, Bud Light.
I don't have a favorite beer ever. I have some beers that were like, oh my God, this was incredible. What's your favorite album ever?
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah,
you have maybe a top five. Like you have two that I'd say are in the top five, but the other three depends on the day. I probably have a desert island beer that there was one if I could only drink for the rest of my life. Because again, we all sit up and have those late nights. Hey, man,
What'd you bring? A beer?
Yeah, exactly. Dude, you only get one beer for the rest of your life, bro. What is it?
Yeah.
And that night it's probably different because the standard answer, what's your favorite beer? The one in my hand.
Yeah.
Clearly this is my favorite beer right now because it's so good right this second.
It is very good.
Well, thank you. And I am a bit biased. But I'm like a Saison guy. I like that style. I've always kind of liked that style. It's a farmhouse style. It's lighter. There's some fruit notes, some pepper. It's a little funky and all. Like I really like that. I can't brew one because it won't sell. It's a little bit more nerdy than the average person consumes.
You'll be able to make one
day. That's the goal, is to actually be able to brew it.
So right now you're focused on
a couple of styles that sell, and I do it for the masses. So what I try to do is there's enough in here for the 1% of the 1%. The beer geeks and the home brewers are like, oh, I get this, I get that. That's awesome. But also for the average person that just is like, oh, I love Gaslight Anthem and I love that song. Let me try this beer. And like, oh, that's actually good.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do. Craft beer needs new friends. Your business always needs new friends.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to find a way. I was once told you can't be all things to all people. Okay, watch me. Because I'm a bit stupid. Like, I think I could do that. So I'm trying to make something for everybody. And if it's because you love tattoos, because you love that music, because you love Nikki, because you love craft beer, maybe you love craft beer and you're like, oh my God, that's cool artwork. I want to go to that tattoo artist. And actually the beer, like I found a tattoo artist that's going to be doing a beer for me in a couple of months. And I just saw her on Instagram and I fell in love with her color. And I'm like, you know, because I was like, I'm creeping on your tattoos, not your pic. I'm like, this is weird. And I'm like, would you like to do a beer label for me? You know?
And that was this one?
No, that hasn't happened yet. I'm sorry. You asked me a completely different question. I totally
No, it's cool. We like tangents. We like tangents. It leads to the best stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I just went down like 3 rabbit holes.
Well, when we do interviews with people, so we do a lot of like talking head stuff for brands.
Sure.
Come with the camera, ask them a bunch of questions. I tend to not give the questions to the people beforehand because then you get the better raw answers.
Yep.
And when people go off on tangents, they think they fucked it up, but they didn't. They've only given us the best. Yeah. Like the best raw thing that comes from them. So when it comes to like this being an interview style, you telling your story, like don't be afraid to go off on
the editor
tangents.
becomes my best friend.
The editor's not doing anything. He's just cutting between the cameras here. Exactly. This is all live.
It's funny. Yeah.
Just kidding, Eric. You do a great job. We love you.
It's funny because I used to date a journalist. So sorry, Mariah. Who collaborated on 2 of these, and it was instrumental in helping.
We'll bring
with
the therapist back on. We can unpack.
Do you want to say we can bring
but I used to try to get those sound bites, you know, and I used to try that, and now I'm just like, whatever, man.
No.
And the last like interview I did with a friend of mine, he asked me something, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna say this, and I started to talk like make a baseball analogy. Now I'm a soccer and a hockey guy. My wife is she knows everything about baseball. She was full scholarship D2, like an amazing softball mind and whatever. And I started saying this and I got lost in my thought. And I was like, she's really going to make fun of me when she hears this. And she listened to it the other day. She's like, you suck. Don't ever talk about baseball again. I'm like, yep, okay.
When it comes to your brand and what you do, I feel like the way you approach it is so authentic. So to try to fake something or create an analogy out of nothing it's counterintuitive. It's not going to work for you. You know, just be authentic, be yourself. Like just be Gary.
It made sense, but if I knew more, like I know the little bit, it's like that's not the word.
You're trying to impress some people.
Whatever, man. It just was weird. Like it made sense in my head, and then she just laughed at me, and it was awesome. So there you go. Whatever. But that's part of my marketing.
Yeah.
And all, like everybody's like, oh, you need to make your reels more. Like I don't want to learn how to cut that shit. Like you see me hit pause and hit stop on no, I kind of like that.
Yeah,
you know?
I get it.
The world isn't perfect. I'm far from perfect. You know what? I don't want to be 100% polished. I like lowercase letters.
Hell yeah.
That's kind of like my thing, and now it's my thing. So, nah. I don't want to make something awesome.
I think authenticity goes a long way. Honestly, because
and storytelling. You don't need to. So the productions that we create here look amazing, and but I think it's really the storytelling that drives it. So you're like, cool, we have good quality cameras that make things look beautiful. Anyone can do that.
I dare you to make that look good. wait.
We should do something fun with that.
Okay. Trust me, I can make fun of myself. It's all good.
Eric's wheels are turning. But I kind of lost my train of thought there. But
be authentic.
Yeah, being authentic. That's the approach that works best. Is just being yourself, like telling the story. That's where I was going. Storytelling is what matters most. So if you're able to tell your story, it doesn't matter if it's shot on what looks like a potato. People will connect to the story, and then the production value and all that stuff just elevates it a little bit. But don't focus too much on the beginning. At the beginning, on doing everything perfect and doing everything the right way, optimizing every little bit, because then you're missing out on a lot of the great stuff, and you're spending an extra hour on a hashtag that's going to get you 3 extra views.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Worth it. No, I'm kidding.
Well, now it's good.
No, I'm just kidding.
So that leads us to where I like to go with these conversations, and I like to talk about the businesses, learn about the businesses behind it, and what's going on with you. So what's your biggest challenge right now?
My biggest challenge is standing out in a very crowded market.
Okay.
I came up, I was a little bit more OG in the beer, like in the Long Island beer world, just because I got into it earlier than the craft beer boom. And there wasn't a lot going on in Long Island. Now, excuse me, I think the number is 80 breweries on Long Island.
There's a
Wow.
ton, yeah.
And we're like 128 miles long or something, you know. That's a ton. What is going to make somebody pick this over something else? Because you don't know what's in this can until you try it.
Right.
And there's a lot of good beer out there.
There is.
You know, Long Island beer is getting better and better and better. And there's some phenomenal breweries. We were talking about Dubco before. Worship them. Love their beer. When I wanted to start this idea, there was only two people I was going to talk to. It was Dubco and Uber Geek. Volume-wise, Uber Geek was my thing. And I would have been happier. I like either place. And there's phenomenal brew. I mean, Threes is insane. Standing out. What's going to make somebody want to spend $18 on a 4-pack for my 4-pack rather than yours?
Right.
You know, I'd like you to try my beer. I think it's good beer. I think there's a good story. I think there's cool artwork. You know, what I say all the time is like, give us a shot. I think you're going to find something you enjoy. So I'm trying to figure out how to make myself happy and do all my ideas that I was told no by bigger people. Oh, blah, blah, blah. All right, well, now I get to do it. And if I fail, I fail. Awesome. That's my bad. I'm going to get up and I'm going to try and I'm probably going to fail again.
Right.
You know, but just what's going to make somebody pick this beer? Because I want somebody to see this and I want somebody to know these girls when what they do.
Yeah.
You know, I want somebody to be like, oh, the Crafty Witch, Alex, and then they look at her page and then there's her jewelry page and you're like, that's insane. And I want you to buy a pair of earrings from her because that's just so cool. You know,
Yeah.
to me. Yeah. So,
This is my favorite one, by the way, so far.
all right. Thanks very much.
They're all very good, but I am enjoying this one.
We all have our taste, man. That's cool. You know. So yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing. Like, how are people going to see this? How are people going to buy it? Because I mean, I'd like to make a couple dollars.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure
There's
would.
two-
So absolutely pick this one.
There's two main pieces to it, I think.
Yeah,
There's
you know, I
the
mean-
branding, the overall branding of like that's what makes people choose something, right?
Yeah.
If Anheuser-Busch does something different, more people know about it because they have the brand.
Oh yeah, they just did
Right,
some
it-
things. And not getting into. I have my personal values in all. Synergy Brew Project does not. It is beer for everyone. I don't care what lever you pull.
Yeah.
Right.
Every 4 years, I'll buy my beer. I'll take
Yeah.
your money. I'm not above it.
Yeah. But that's the using them as an example. Maybe I chose the wrong one for the moment, but
Well, we can cut that out.
you know, you have the overall appeal of a brand and of your story that is unique to you and that will connect with people. And then you have the little things like the artwork. Like if I see these eyes on a can on a shelf somewhere, I might be, and then I notice, oh, it's Synergy Brew Project.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll grab that one over the, you know, the other beer that's sitting next to it.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's kind of a part of me that's out there as well. Like even my logo, like you see what started was a little bit of a kind of beer thing, and then this logo, my buddy Phil Ebel, he saw it because I'm a huge fan of Scottish soccer team Celtic, and he's like, I'm gonna make you a logo that's like Celtic, and I was like, okay, cool. And then one day I get an email. And like
That's
you
the
could
logo.
see, I'm sorry, we'll figure out where to put that in, but like you could see how that screensaver
Yeah, just send it to us. We'll pop it up.
makes sense.
Send us the
you know,
image.
and I'm like, I don't watch baseball. I don't watch American football. I'm a soccer guy. That's the coolest thing in the world to me. That's that inspired. And a guy that I have bro tats with, you know, like me, him, and one other guy, Adam, have the same tattoo. That's the coolest thing in the world. That's now my brand. Because this
Right.
was when it was 100% Rob's, and this is when it started to be
More you.
me where it's gonna go. You know, like I kind of like that it's a personal thing for the world, and I get to do that.
Yeah.
And I make new friends with some of the collaborations. Now, Jackie, we talk all the time. I just bought Safe Ferris tickets. I'm like, you want to go to New Jersey and see Safe Ferris? Because she's a huge ska fan. And, you know, Alex does, like, we talk all the time, and I'm glad that I'm, like, making new friends. Like, the tattoo artist that I'm doing a beer with, like, I have my tattoo from her coming up
Right.
in June. So I don't know, man. I have fun in life.
It's becoming a lifestyle for you.
Beer's always been a lifestyle for me.
Yeah, but this one,
I just-
this one in particular.
So this is now, yeah, man. I'm just, you know what, man. I'm having a lot of fun, and if I can make some money at having some fun, and it's kind of fucking around, but professionally.
Yeah. That's a great way to
I'm
put
trying
it.
so hard to not
No,
drop
No,
an
it's
F
cool.
or a
no,
C.
dude,
It's all
do
good.
whatever you want.
This is
I know.
YouTube doesn't care.
Yeah, no.
No, they don't, but I do. I set these goals for myself.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
say F.
We'll bleep it. We'll bleep
We'll
it. Then.
bleep it. Bleep it.
Eric, bleep that.
No, but I think what makes it really cool is you have like this. It seems like an artistic kind of background, and you've taken it and put it into your cans, and then you also have this outside the box thinking idea of how can I collaborate with other people, and then together, as you, one of my favorite quotes is "The tide rises," and all
Yeah,
that
man. Yeah.
So you take that kind of this creative idea of how could we do something outside the box, and then I mean, I think it's going to be successful, man. There's no doubt in my mind because you're working with good people. And my thing is when good people take care of good people.
Yep.
Get this story out there. Tell this story. That's how you stand out, and that's how Synergy Brew Project becomes bigger and bigger. More people choose your can over theirs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Keep doing
Yeah.
what you're
That's,
doing.
Yeah,
that's
you know,
that's a
what-
big big deal.
One of my sayings is like, I never met a box that I wanted to think inside of.
Yeah.
Like but then when I had jobs with, and like, we can't do this because it's about the bottom dollar, and then, God damn it, you know, I have
Yeah.
a lot of ADD that I got to get out there.
Yeah, see, I'm the same way, man. I don't. Sometimes I get in trouble because I don't think about the bottom dollar, and he could tell you from conversations with my dad. I'm like, just gotta keep pushing, keep pushing,
Yeah.
you know. And it. But I like the way you think. So
Yeah, yeah. And again, like this is the newest beer that was out, and like if I have to make $8 on it rather than 10, all right, man, I'll make that up. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's still good enough.
Right.
Everybody wants FU money.
yeah, of course.
You know, I'm just kind of happy doing what I do, and if as long as my bills are paid and I can sleep in on Monday morning, I'm good.
And cheers to that.
Yeah, I'll
boys.
cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Absolutely, boys.
So, how can people find you?
Yeah.
Where can they get in touch?
So my Instagram is right there. That's probably the easiest way. Synergy Brew Project, Synergy _ brew, like the little things under there. So I don't have a
up again.
website just yet. But yeah, if you just search that, that's that. You know,
Is there a way to find where all your beers are located in the local shops?
message me for that because again, like if you look back through all my
Posts.
stories and everything like that, every time I get a new account, I post it and I make a little reel. So yeah, but if you want to know, hit me up. Hey, Gary, I saw you here. I live here. Where's the closest place? Just tell me where you live, because then it's like I live here, not your address or anything.
Yeah.
General area.
Text you my address later. Where's the closest one?
He thinks I don't know. I'm going to tell you, man. Your curtains look fantastic from the tree across the street.
Thank you. You're brand new.
That's right. But yeah, hey, I live in whatever town. I'll tell you the closest place because I don't have the website yet of everywhere
yeah,
there is.
Yeah.
You know, so
Get them all on a map later.
Yeah,
Subtlety
man.
style.
And I'd much rather talk to you. You know, it's like, oh wait, what kind of beer do you like? Oh, all right, so this one, this is where it is. This beer is on draft here, so you're gonna love that. Actually, travel 4 extra miles and go there because that's the beer that you're gonna like the best. I still have the time, and there's not millions of people. Like, I'll try to cater my interaction with you the best
Yeah.
that I can. You know.
No, that's awesome.
That's cool. That's the way you build from the beginning, right? Customer
100%.
service. It's
Word
what
of
you
mouth.
guys have been doing in the
Yeah.
retail stores.
Yeah.
It's building relationships with
Bootstrapping,
people
yeah,
one at a
whole
time.
Yeah, man.
That'll get them talking.
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
great.
Well, thanks for
Thank
coming
you
on.
coming
No,
on.
guys,
This is
thank you so
awesome.
much for having me. This was awesome. We got to just,
We got to hang out on a Wednesday afternoon and have a couple beers.
You know,
Nothing wrong with that.
guess what? We got to sit down here and talk for a half hour or something like that. And if somebody goes and buys a 4-pack, that's cool. If somebody just saw that tattoo and like hits, you know, Gary or whatever, that's awesome. Rather than standing for 3 hours in a store, hey, you want to try this and maybe buy a 4-pack? I love this, man. Thank you guys.
You got to
so
send
much,
us the individual artist tags and everyone,
I
all the
give you
collaborators. Yeah, send it to us so that
man.
we can
You
just.
guys are getting weird ass emails. I'll actually
We'll link
send
it
you
to
guys a couple of new artworks that
Yeah.
aren't out yet.
All right.
That because I got some really good collaborations coming up, both label wise. I'm doing something with the Southampton Animal Shelter.
Very nice.
Like really cool stuff, like for my dog's Gotcha Day.
Wow.
1 year, so she's gonna be
Nice.
on a beer label.
Oh,
Very
cool.
nice.
Yes, do that. Put your freaking dog on a beer label. I do, bro.
That's
I
right.
do.
I love it. Well, thanks
Thank
again.
you so much
Yeah,
for
Gary.
having me,
you.
man. This was awesome. I
Thank you.
appreciate it so much.
Check them out. Let's go.